Well, hopefully you've pressed the right button and you've got the commentary for the Tomorrow People, The Vanishing Earth. My name's Nick Briggs. I wasn't in it or anything to do with it. I'm just here to talk to Nicholas Young, Peter Vaughan Clark, and coughing in the background there,
I'm so sorry.
Philip Gilbert. Hello to you all.
Hello, Nick.
Hi.
Yes,
We're ready
we're all,
to do more.
Yes, we're doing more now.
Yes. Now, what's going on? Is this
Twister.
footage?
That's an old Twister there.
You see, there's the planet Mercury from the previous story.
An understatement, John. Natural disasters have been a great rarity.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you do the talking.
All right.
Well, I
I
wouldn't
just-
have asked questions if I were you.
I just said I don't believe it. I was wondering if I was watching an earlier episode, but apparently I'm looking at a tornado.
Yes, the whole world's gone a bit skew-whiff on
Yes,
this
and
point.
awry.
Well, the world has been turned upside down.
There were some pretty frightening results.
Do you remember this?
Yes, I remember
yes,
that.
I remember the pink trousers.
Oh, yes.
Very trendy.
Years later, I was in Superman 2 or 3, I can't remember which. Identical,
How much time do we have, Tim?
You remember?
identical idea. The world was blowing up all over the place, and Superman had to go up and reverse the world.
Oh yes, that was San Andreas' fault, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But what?
Well, whatever it is, it's obvious it's got to be done. And soon.
Yes, with those dramatic John comments. And soon.
No.
And then.
Still don't know whose hand that is.
That is Nicholas Young doing his rendition of Dudley Simpson's famous Tomorrow People theme.
Yes, you are a bit of a closet muso, aren't you, Nick?
I think so, yeah.
He was playing the keyboard in the
You-
studio
yeah,
earlier.
well, yeah.
I heard a guitar playing, and it was Nick playing away there.
Oh, God. Let him hear a guitar.
Brian Finch again.
Brian Finch.
Yes,
Well, he did the whole lot, didn't he?
I wasn't
Did he
aware.
do them all?
Not all of them, I think. I wasn't aware that he had such a. There we are. That's Clacton on Sea.
Yes.
One of the more exotic locations we have.
And actually, this was
People.
Frinton.
Frinton. Beg your pardon.
Frinton, yes.
They say it's Clacton, though.
No, it was yes.
But it was Frinton. I think we either filmed it in Clacton Pier. No, it was Clacton Pier, but we were staying on location in Frinton on sea.
So
So
here's
anyone that lives out in Frinton, it really is a carsy.
There's a nice rip theatre there, I hear.
How to win friends and influence people. So Lefty is
Where
back.
I'm hoping to be employed.
Lefty is back here. Look.
Yeah.
So they're looking out to sea. That is the view apparently from the pier. No.
Not as I remember it.
What's the hold up?
Hold up, it's my fingers. They're so stiff with cold.
Oh, you're such a wimp, Carol.
A bit more.
Just have to be as quick as you can.
It's all very well for him. He's warming his hands on the table. Look.
Now, that's supposed to be you.
Me?
No, that's me,
Peter.
wasn't it? Yes, that was.
It isn't, of course.
No,
It's
I
just
think
some
so.
bloke who was wandering around.
I'm right behind you, chaps. I'm just sending them out to all these dangerous
Yes, you just got off
places.
to a volcano, Stephen. Yeah.
There's a hair in the gate.
Little hot
That's
spot.
marvellous.
Carol, can you get a move on? I'm ready now. Receptor's in position.
Right, Stephen. Let's get a clearer picture.
I believe in one of the audio adventures they had one of you go up a volcano to simply give it that genuine feel of a Tomorrow People episode.
Yes. What's that? Oh,
There it is, Clacton
how
Pier.
quaint the old fairground. Look at that. From the days before video games.
100 years ago, out in the Wild West, when men were men and the women were glad.
Of course, we've got the famous Coronation Street
Now-
star leaping in here.
Yes, that's right.
The
Ken
chap on the
Farrington.
right,
Yes, Ken Farrington. Now this girl, what was her name?
Norma.
Norma?
Is it
Somebody, Llewellyn, was it?
Norma Llewellyn?
Something like that. This is the one, I can say it now because he's no longer with us, poor chap, but he was, he got his leg over with that girl. He when we stayed in the hotel,
What, Ken?
no, Mike, sorry, not Mike either.
Mike Standing.
Yes, standing.
Oh, right,
standing,
Ginger.
standing.
Let me tell you the story.
Sorry.
And she was very, very upset by the whole affair.
Yes, let me tell you the story.
Just don't
We
come
were-
to the
we
end,
were-
Philip.
we
We,
were-
haven't heard the scandal yet.
We were booked into a hotel down there, and he managed to swing it with person who was handing out the rooms to have a room next to her, which actually had a connecting door.
Oh my
And we were
God.
given some story about Edward VII used to stay there, and he had his mistress next door and the connecting door. That was the purpose for it. He did pull her, apparently.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That old dog.
That, allegedly,
But
I have to say.
she was
I mean, not that old dog. I mean, because she's a very beautiful woman.
She's a hippie chick, isn't she?
She's a hippie chick.
She was very, she was very.
But she's a very
fond of
strange
him.
nose.
She was
She was what?
terribly upset when it all broke up. Because he just used her.
Used her,
As he said.
abused her,
Yes,
and
I
gave her to
used her.
Spydron.
He tried to get her
But
to...
she went on to do. She left to do something at the Edinburgh Festival, Nana or something like that, something rather highbrow.
He tried to get her to indulge in dubious sexual practices, I seem to remember.
I don't know anything about that.
No, it might have been to get her to dress up as a tomorrow person or something, I'm not quite sure. But... And then I saw her some years later.
Oh, look, we've been groomed, Nick. We've been groomed. Well, I have. I don't know. Your hair hasn't.
She was a passenger in a very expensive-looking Jensen's. I think she'd gone up market a bit.
Oh, yes.
But this is all allegedly. I only have it from him. I have no confirmation from her.
Well, I know
And,
that it was true. I know that it's true.
The actual fact.
But you were watching me.
Me? No, certainly not.
I think it was hearsay.
I was
Crave.
confided in as I was by almost everybody.
Or bragged to.
Marvellous.
all
It's
parts of
30
their-
years. Don't you open the papers after 30
Their
years on
private
television?
lives. They all came and told me. As little Carol did, of course, too.
She lives around the corner from me, you know.
What, Carol?
Yeah. Sammy.
Sammy,
She
yeah.
lives, but I don't really speak to her when I see her, actually. I mean, what am I going to say? Hello.
Have you spoken to Tim recently?
Jaunt me up for a cup of tea.
I saw her in Sainsbury's now, and oh
Now
dear.
he's getting her to handle his weapon, look.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
On fire.
Yes, look down this barrel and see if you can hit the target.
You mean like this?
Yes.
Oh, she's a hot shot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, woman with a gun.
She
It's
can
like
get,
being in a carry-on film here.
she can get them down, can't she?
She has a very interesting way of laughing, which I want you to listen out for later.
Right.
Oh, yes,
this-
I know. Yes, I remember that actually.
Now, I've done modifications to this game now. It's got some red bits in, you see.
Yes.
Who's playing who?
Where they are.
Me and Kenny.
Ah,
You might indeed.
and who's winning?
Told you if you had a mouse.
That's a bone of contention.
That's true. I think we argue about it.
Tell us where they are then.
Ginge and Lefty have gone to the seaside.
Where?
Yeah.
Clacton-on-Sea.
Yes, it was meant to be Clacton.
Well, I think that was Clacton Pier.
Have our pleasures, Stephen.
Is it just a bit further down the coast?
Yes, it's I think Frenton's like the next little seaside town,
But
about
that
2 miles
really
away.
is, when you look at it, it really is quaint, isn't it? Look at all those amusements.
No video games
No,
there.
that's what I'm saying. He's now handling his own weapon.
She's lovely, isn't she?
He thought so.
She was a very nice girl. Just got involved, I think.
There's like a
happens.
face in there, look at that. You see that face of an old man in the moon there?
I think we've been doing this far too long, Nick.
That was my reflection on the screen.
Yeah, she was a good girl, you're quite right. She was born good and grew better with experience.
They've had this year on the most violent in living memory.
Do we know what she's doing now?
Just about to sue, I think.
I always thought she was a superb actress.
So did I.
Thought she was a moose.
Don't be so.
Well, really.
Oh, really?
I was
what
only-
if this
I was only a
poor girl
child.
Heard this. I mean, what would she think?
I think that
We're sending her a copy.
Tim's had his tubes tidied up because he hasn't got so many dangly bits, has he?
Yeah, they probably needed some for them, more ducting somewhere in Thames Television, so they had to
Yeah.
use some.
But do you remember how they were all hanging down in the
Oh,
previous
yes.
episode?
They were
just
lavish.
basically getting in the way, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that for a twister. That really is one, isn't it?
Take immediate action.
The figures are coming up now,
Oh,
John.
look at the figures.
Right.
But how come they're not affected by all this down in Clacton then?
Well, they will be. This is when he thinks he's got lucky.
Oh, Lefty? No, he's a man of few words and even fewer brains.
They go off to the Tunnel of Love, I believe.
What's your name then?
Joy.
Or the House of Horrors, something mirrors.
Yes.
That's right.
That is some mini skirt, isn't it?
It is.
Well, I haven't made up my mileage yet, but I can always have it made up for me.
Yes, it's never gone away, the miniskirt. That's it. They keep saying it's dead, but
Why?
I'm looking at that pier with a lot of fondness, actually. Something happened to me on that pier.
You're going to share it with us?
Well, I actually had my first kiss.
Is
on
that right?
Yes, and it was down to him. Because
Well,
they got me
who-
very drunk. Do you remember? I got into a lot of trouble over
And he
it.
kissed you.
No. Yes.
Trying to establish it
I was
while you did the
being
kissing.
snogged by Ginge. Well, you know, there you go.
Kevin Stoney.
That's correct.
Doctor Who veteran.
Yes,
I'm
he
sorry
is.
to mention that programme again.
No, he was a major player in Doctor Who, wasn't he?
He did 2 very notable parts in Doctor Who.
Oh, so you got the tickets, Lefty?
Yep.
Yes, tell us about the kiss, sorry.
Oh yes, no, the kiss. There was a little girl fan because as we were saying earlier that the program went out while we were when we were finishing off this series, it was actually out, so we were sort of known, and obviously you had like little girly fans, and Mike Standing set me up with this young fan.
So you took advantage of one of your fans, did you?
I had
think
my
that's
first group and a quick feel of her boobies,
pretty damn low, I would
and
say.
it was marvellous. I must admit.
sordid.
I think
You can't. It was only 14, 15 years old. I wasn't going to go everywhere. You know.
I think if John had known about that, he'd have put a stop to it. I'd have taken you in hand.
Yes, well, enough of that.
Out of his skull here.
What was her name?
I can't remember. She was a moose. It was. I think that's what the whole thing was about. I was set up.
But he set you up.
Yes, he set me up, and along with a couple of the other film guys, and they said to go and have a snog before we get on the coach on the way home. So we
You
did.
know what? I vaguely remember all that now.
Do you remember?
I do.
Yes, it was.
She wasn't the prettiest girl in the world.
No,
was
she wasn't
Yes.
there. Yes.
It was the best you could do,
It
wasn't
was
it?
the best you could. Yes.
For the next 5 years.
Once you took the turf out of her mouth, it was fine. Not that funny. Yes.
The World Wide Web, as it was in those days.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. The mirrors of Horn.
Yes, her name was Llewellyn, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was Norm.
I think it was Norman Llewellyn.
Norman Llewellyn.
So. Or Llewellyn, as they probably say.
In here, Ginge. Here. Here.
Oh, is that awful scream that he does here now? Oh.
Here. Here.
Accept him in.
Poor old Lefty.
Yeah.
Always lefty outy.
It's chicks before mates, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, all fair
Same
and
old,
level
same
on.
old chestnut. Nothing ever changes in life.
One of the eternal truths represented here in the Tomorrow People.
Yes. Going on Esther next week.
I love the ways it just seems so incongruous, all this Spydron.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's always something terribly sinister about circuses and fairgrounds, which goes well with that sort of thing.
Standing by to receive
So there is the Spydron,
Is
played
it-
by John Woodnut. There he is.
Transmission.
Hey, come on, what's going on, John? John, Chuck, come on, what's going on?
Not very comfortable with laughing, was she?
No, she wasn't, was she? He was. He was a nutter. Oh,
Clever. if
What's
you
he
can
got
do
your
that.
passport for?
not mine. I don't look like him.
Wasn't that your photograph in the
No,
book?
that was Ginge.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
She looks satisfied.
Mm.
confirmed.
So he did go down, didn't he?
Yes.
Just
he
as a
went
very
down with
pedantic
the
point,
Spydron.
you might notice that the Spydron voice, as heard over the radio here, doesn't sound like an alien, obviously to fool the audience, and then later on it becomes more alien.
That's clever.
Yes, you just think it's some bloke down there, Mr. Spydron.
That outfit's a bit pink.
I expect you wonder where your friends got to.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
It's funny how you appreciate things when you get older.
He said he was sure.
She looks a bit like Danny
I worked
Bear,
with her, yes, that's right, I worked with her. God damn, I had all those opportunities and so young.
but you just thought she was some old woman.
Yes,
then,
I
didn't you?
did. I
Yes.
thought, oh no, how can he kiss her? She's old.
You're lucky to get one that young now, wouldn't you?
This is really slipped down the slippery slope, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm far more discreet. I won't tell you about my activities.
Oh, go on.
Go on, yeah. If not, I'll make them up.
What about that?
The saps, I mean.
Can't you allude to something?
Responsible without knowing it.
No, I was totally responsible. I never took advantage of my fans, either of them.
Well, I don't know. But if it's serious enough, we should warn them. It is their planet as well as ours.
This would have been Sammy's last story. Did
Yeah,
you have
it was.
any inkling that she was sort of thinking, oh, I've had enough of this?
I think she said to us, actually. I think I remember her talking about it quite openly.
Well, I'm not sure that there was any discussion at this point about another series necessarily, so she probably hadn't made the decision.
No, that's very true, because we really didn't know that it was going to carry on. It was just
No.
booked for 12 and
13, I think.
13, and then we were going to hope for a second series, but that maybe.
Yeah, I think it was after it was offered that she decided that she would prefer to do Romeo and Juliet. I think she wanted to go on to do.
No.
But Peter, you say you had an inkling that she wasn't.
Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but I think so. I think we talked about it, and she wasn't, she was because she was doing the Doctor series, and she was a very television person anyway. And as Nick says, she wanted more theatre. And when an artiste or an actress says that, they want to go and stupidly go back into tread the boards.
I mean, it is a decision that every actor has to make about any series, because an actor's life is very insecure, and if somebody offers you another 13 weeks of work, or however long it takes to make 13 episodes, it's a brave actor who decides to turn it down in the hope that he's going to get something better, or even something as good. And meanwhile, you starve while you're waiting.
Yeah.
And I was faced with the same decision, but I was fortunate in the early series. I was able to do other things, but as the years went by, the other work dried up, and that became difficult. So you reach a point where you've done about 35 or 40 and you're a bit stuck, because if you come out of it at that point, chances are you won't work again doing anything.
Bring the prisoner to the processing.
In those days, really, if you were in a series and you really couldn't be in another one, it's not like nowadays, for instance, Nick Lyndhurst, who was in 3 series at once, playing 3 completely different characters, really quite extraordinary. You couldn't do that in those days. But, of course, there were less channels, so that's probably why.
Is that the main reason, do you think?
I think so. As Peter said, at this time there were only 3 channels, and BBC Two was an intellectual channel. So really these were the 2 channels that made most of the drama. And television was simply too small to have people playing different roles at the same time.
And also, I suppose, decisions about who headed up a series were not being made on such financially based grounds.
Not as they are nowadays, no.
Because now they would put Nicholas Lyndhurst in lots of things because they know he gets an audience wherever he goes, and it doesn't matter.
And all the commercials he does as well. I mean, it's extraordinary, the amount of work.
Well, talking about commercials, we weren't allowed to do commercials when we were doing the Tomorrow People, isn't that right?
No, yes, nobody ever asked you.
No, I did. No, they weren't allowed. No, we could do commercials, but they weren't allowed to show them before or afterwards.
Oh no, well that's the same now.
Is it?
Yeah, of course it is. It would look stupid if you were in the programme. In fact, I'll tell you what put a stop to that. It was an actor playing a judge in a play, and he appeared playing a judge in a commercial in the middle of it, and it ridiculed the whole programme. Ever since then, they got sensitive. No, I was doing my famous performance in the Twix commercial while this was on.
Yes, remember it well,
yes,
Nick.
Standing at the bus stop and that lovely music.
There's even a storyboard on the website, isn't there?
There is,
I
yes.
remember that.
The wah-wah pedal, which was very fashionable in those days.
Well, there you go. Don't remember them.
No, that was pretty good pyrotechnics, wasn't it?
Oh, that's the Spydron's gun, isn't it?
Them for Christmas. Do wonders on them old weeds in her front garden. Always remember, of course, you don't burn the house down while she's at it.
There he comes.
Who's that then?
Spydron.
Come on, show yourself.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Christmas decorations. And everything.
It's a living Christmas tree.
Immediately.
No. Oh, no.
You had to do a lot of heavy acting in this one, I remember.
Dolphin show, dear me, that was a bit advanced for those days, wasn't it?
What does that say, 3%?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. That was their way of saying down in Clacton.
Probably say 1,500 hours now, wouldn't it?
Oh, look at those bikes. BSA 650s, I think they were.
Dolphins, yeah. The back there.
Yeah.
Didn't see any dolphins.
No, don't think I did either. They weren't quite so trendy in those days, were they?
Damn shame. They're quite sort of slippery little things, aren't they?
God, I'm
Get your
surprised you
hands
could get on that bike.
He manages it, though. He's
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
Now, that's not him, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, that's him.
I don't see why not. I think he could ride it all right.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Well,
why
you
I
can
can't
see
be sure?
he's not doing too well there, is he?
Kevin was actually blind in the other eye, wasn't he?
Hmm.
What was it like working with him?
He was a nice man.
He was a nice man, yeah. Very quiet, didn't sort of throw
He
himself
didn't
around.
dare, I don't think. He probably wondered what the hell he got himself into. He was just a trooping actor. Who was the bloke that played Spider-Man?
John Woodnut.
Spider-Man!
Oh, my God,
You will approach the Spider-Man!
Oh, no, not on your life, mate.
You will approach the Spider-Man!
Now, this was interesting because he was in this tube here. Ooh. Yes, he was standing in that tube, and he was getting very fed up with standing in that tube, and I think he asked to be allowed out or something. And one of the prop guys came up and pushed the tube, and it fell over with him in it.
He was terrified.
That's right, yes.
Bunch of bloody amateurs!
He thought he was going to get electrocuted because all the lights were popping all over the place and there was water coming down. He was absolutely terrified. Oh, what's his name is still in this?
Who, Harry?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans?
Yeah.
Paul Bernard.
And Paul Bernard did it.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't-
Actually, he had the hots for that Llewellyn girl.
That's
as well.
right, yeah,
There was-
exactly.
I remember now there was competition.
There was competition.
So there was Peter on the right of me, you know, with his fan, and those two on the left of me with Nova.
And what did you get up to
Well, there
then?
we are, you see.
Yes.
I was more discreet and more subtle.
He says as we fade out.
I know.
I
think
know what you
remember.
did.
Yes. Wardrobe springs to mind, or makeup.
Yes, it was makeup, I think.
It was
wasn't it?
makeup as well, yeah.